Hello everyone, this is Ron from High Tech Legion. Now, the name Silverstone, when it comes to cases, is pretty much associated with unique styling and, of course, premium design. They're well known for their Raven cases and their Fortress cases, which pretty much revolutionized the whole 90-degree motherboard mounting angle that has been copied by a lot of case modders. And, of course, comes with that is the premium pricing as well. But they are also offering a lot of cases that are within affordable pricing, such as their Precision line. And I was surprised to find out that their Precision PS08 case is actually available for $29.99 currently at newegg.com. That is down by about $10 from the MSRP of $39.99, which is still quite surprisingly affordable. Well, so what? Let's just dig in and see what we can find inside this box, and let's see what features it has to offer for that price range. Alright, so here we have the Silverstone Precision PS08 completely out of the packaging, and this is clearly the white version. A black version is also available. Here at the front you get a pair of 5¼ external drive bays, which can be accessed just by pinching the sides here, although if you notice there is no there's not much area here for grip. It is quite smooth actually, so for those with oily hands you might want to just sort of push it on one side and pull out like I did. It's much more convenient than pulling it out from both sides and pinching it. And just take that out, and underneath them you get your pair of USB 3.0 ports and your pair of audio jacks. Now thankfully Silverstone didn't use the ugly green and pink plastic for the front audio headers, and they used instead a black and sort of machined metal look connector there, so it looks quite attractive. Also recessed in between the edge here and the front panel dust filter are the power and the reset buttons, so they're not accidentally pressed. And I'll show you the dust filtering here. There is a film that you can slide out and sort of maintain from time to time to make sure that the internal fan here is not overtaxed with limited air intake. And there's a 120mm fan, and also an 80mm fan can be installed right underneath that. Now as for the side panels, they're held in place by thumb screws, and you can see that there's also ventilation here on the left side panel. You can't mount any fan here, there's no mounting, these are just perforations for the airflow. And there's no handle here in the rear, but there is a handle here to kind of rest 4 of your fingers on the side so you can pull out. Although I must say they're not exactly very convenient. As you can see there, I still have to, it's still much more effective if I just pull out here from the rear rather than using those grooves, because it's still quite slippery. And so yeah, it's still white side in this white version, and internally it is also white in there. And let's take a look at the connectors here for a sec. You have, of course, a ribbon of cables here, color coded, including the hard drive LED, power switch, reset switch, and the power LED, which is separated into the 2-wire kind, so it can accommodate the 3-wire configuration of front panel LEDs and the 2-wire as well. You have the front panel 120mm intake fan. You have your USB 3.0 19-pin connector. Unfortunately, it does not have any wires for backwards compatibility with USB 2.0 in case you have an older motherboard. And also you have your HD audio connector, which has no backward compatibility with the AC97 audio, just in case you have, again, an older motherboard. And tied here are the accessories inside a plastic bag. Get the Silverstone Precision manual, just a simple fold-out 2-page manual. It's all English. And inside you get 4 screws for your power supply. You see a single cable tie here for cable management, and essentially 2 different kinds of screws. One for your motherboard well, actually three. One for your peripheral, one for your motherboard, and the standoff, which is technically a screw. And sort of a bonus item here is the adapter to mount those standoffs. Their standoffs are black, they're not the brass standoffs. And a whole bunch of variety of those screws inside this bag right here. And let's see what we can find inside here. Again, we mentioned the pair of 5¼ inch drive bays. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 3.5 inch drive bay mounting inside as well. And right underneath that, there's a big gap here and a 2.5 inch drive mounting right at the floor. As you see there, you can see the mounting all I show you here at the bottom. And as for the feet, these are simple plastic feet which elevated about a centimeter off the ground. And if you notice, there is no ventilation hole here at the bottom. That is because the power supply is mounted here at the top, the rear. And also you can mount an 80mm fan or a 92mm fan here for exhaust. And the PCIe is mounted flush to the back of the motherboard tray. Now that can cause some issues when installing some downward blowing fan that were with the heat pipes sort of orienting backwards if you have a fan installed here in the rear. And also you have the PCIe expansion slots here. There's 4 of them since it is a micro ATX case, and it also has Kensington lock options here in the rear for those who want to take it on a LAN party. And let me just unscrew the other right side panel here so we can continue on the overview. Again, it's difficult to sort of pull it out with this guy right here, so I would probably have to use something to pry it open with, especially since it is fresh out of the factory directly here. So bear with me. There we go. Back of the right side panel. I'll put that aside, and you can see more of the area here since it is mounted here at the top for the. It uses the power supply mounting here at the top. You have room to sort of wrap the cables here, and also you can see that there isn't much space from the back of the motherboard tray to the right side panel for cable management. We'll see later once we do our installation video. And it also has a large cutout here for your aftermarket backplates, and there's some area here to sort of store your extra cables beside the 3.5 inch hard drive mounting area and the right side panel. And that's pretty much it for the overview. I'm gonna just go through the installation in a separate video, and then we'll go back and check out the temperature performance. Alright, as you can see in the benchmarks, the CPU temperatures is definitely higher than even what I expected, even though I assumed that it will run high because it is in a smaller micro ATX case. I swapped in a TC14 CS there. If you saw the installation video, component installation video, I used a G-Lead Siberian there, which is unfortunately I had to swap it out because when I loaded that one under the AIDA stability test, I reached a temperature of 90 degrees, so I was worried with that. So I swapped it with a TC14 CS. I thought it wouldn't fit because the TC14 CS has a 140.5mm clearance, but the Precision PS08 has purports a 140mm clearance. So I was concerned with that 0.5mm. I just had to try it, and as you can see, I had both fans installed and running on the TC14 CS, and it is actually touching the side panel. I would have preferred a little bit more clearance, but I had to do it. That is the best cooler I can find that I have on hand. Unfortunately, I couldn't install any of my self-contained liquid cooling solutions because each of them have essentially radiators that are quite large. The smallest one is a 120mm radiator, and there is no 120mm mounting for any fans and radiator on the PS08 except for the front, and I basically have to mod it and remove the hard drive cage in order to mount a radiator there. And also, I couldn't find any CPU tower socket CPU coolers that will fit under 140 millimeters, at least that I have on hand. So the TC14CS was very good, and I was lucky that I had that on hand, and it still produced higher temperatures than I expected. 77 degrees on stock, 4770K. It's still higher than I expected. Also, the GPU temperature was about 5 degrees higher than what it would be on a mid-tower case last I tested, at 77 degrees as well. And of course, that is understandable since it is a smaller micro ATX case. Also, considering it is a small micro ATX case, the cable management won't be as good as it is a mid-tower case or a full tower case. And also because of the fact that the power supply is mounted on top, that limits a lot of our cable management options. Now, in terms of clearance problems, of course, there was also a problem with installing an optical drive and a longer PSU longer than 170 millimeters. I would suggest not going over that length, or else you won't be able to install any optical drive and won't be able to plug it. Definitely won't be able to mount it flush to the front of the bezel. And also, the 6990 is possible to be installed, but you have to plug in the power connector first and then sort of maneuver over it, and make sure that you don't have a tall CPU cooler installed before you put in that 6990, because you still have to do some maneuvering. So it's still it is possible, but there is a lot of caveat. Now, in terms of award, I have to give this a bronze award. Normally I would give something like this a silver award, because the price, I saw the price earlier, the lowest I could find it was at $29.99 at Newegg with additional rebate, so probably lowest is $25 via Newegg for the black version, while the white version is available for $38.99. Still very good. $39.99 is the MSRP, and that is very good usually, but of course the higher temperatures and the clearance issues I've found kind of drop it down to a bronze. There, of course, it has a very good build quality, especially considering the price. It has a very sound fan, a 120 millimeter fan. Even at full load or at full fan speed, it ran quietly, so I was surprised at that. And it definitely will be helped by an additional exhaust fan to be installed. 80 millimeter or 90 millimeter fan in the rear you can install, and it will definitely help with the cooling, and even an additional 80 millimeter fan for the intake. Now, that's pretty much it. And for the rest of the review, you can click on the link below at www.hightechlegion.com. You can leave questions or comments. Subscribe to our Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just clicking on the link below. Hit the like if you like this video. Also, facebook.com/HTLReviews, twitter.com/hightechlegion. And once again, this is Ron, signing out.